Hi everyone, I'm Dale and welcome to the Art of Confident Living. So what I'm trying to do is find the most amazing people to interview for you, to give you some inspiration. If you're feeling at that point that you've had a gutsful, you don't want it anymore, you want your life to be different. And these are all people who've changed their lives and are doing incredible things. And I am going to say that this is my very, very first one. And I have for you the best guest in the, I shouldn't say that. I have the most amazing I I've been in Denise Mortimer's energy and space for a very, very long time. And I can tell you, she is a woman who stands in her power and she really, really helps and supports people. Now, if you Google Denise, what you'll find is she is the fabulous finder. And I know that to be true because I've sat in many of your things. I've seen you on Facebook. We do networking stuff together. And you really, really do. What I see and what I feel is that you make this incredible impact on people. But I want to know your story. So I'm not going to waffle anymore. I'm just going to invite you to just tell us who you are.
Thank you for that introduction. And it's funny, the idea of the Fabulous Finder was my original move into the online space. My daughter was helping me get set up online. She's like, what do you want to call your business? And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? I don't even know what I do. I bring out the fabulous in people. So I'm like the Fabulous Finder. And then I kind of moved away from the Fabulous Finder for a while. And I've moved back to it now. I'm going full circle. I'm coming back to where I started because I went through a whole sort of metamorphosis along the way, like doing business coaching and then doing a lot of transformational, like deep inner child healing and hypnosis. And now I'm back to it's all about the frequency. And it's always been about the frequency, Dale. It's actually always been about the frequency. So I'm full circle. I'm back to Fabulous Finder again, right? Like the words Fabulous Finder. I'm like, oh my God, this is where I belong. This is what I do. I it's almost like I bring it out in other people, like other people amplify. There's some sort of synergy that goes on. Like when I'm in a room of people, I kind of like it's almost like I pick up on all the best of all those people and then I bring it into myself and then I just reflect it back to everyone in the room. And I'm like this shining light, but all I'm shining is the
Yes.
brilliance of all the people around me.
And that's really interesting because you're a projector, aren't you, in the human design?
Indeed, yeah.
And I am too, but our energy is very different. But what you've just said is I pick up other people's stuff and just remind them of how absolutely gorgeous they are, that they're bold and they're brave and they're beautiful. Because I
Yeah.
see that in other people, and you do that very, very same thing. And it's really interesting how things go in cycles. Like I think it was about 2013, I decided I was going to be the word alchemist. I because I write a lot and I use words and the energy of words to create change. And then it was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. So I understand you coming all the way back round to being the fabulous finder because we always come back to what our truth is, who we're meant to be, who we're meant to be in the world. And I think that's a great message, a great first message to anybody watching this. And actually, can I just invite the viewers, go and get yourself a journal and scribble, because I tell you what, we're going to get some gold out of this. You are going to get some insights and some stuff. And talking about word alchemy, I journal loads, and I just so want to invite you to make sure that you've got a pen and paper, because I think that when we get into what Denise has got to share, you're going to be really, really, truly inspired. But let's go back before you were the fabulous finder, because there's going to be a lot of people watching this who are probably feeling like you said, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I am anymore. I've spent my life being conditioned by external sources. I'm conditioned by life, and you talked about inner child healing. So people are going to be sitting here and going, well, I just don't know. So let's go back to, I mean, we reinvent ourselves many, many times, but let's go back to something that you would like to share about, maybe that moment, that realization that something needed to change.
God, that's an everyday occurrence. You want me to pinpoint what?
Oh, it's something to inspire people. So
Okay, so yeah,
maybe something this week. I mean, it doesn't have to
yes,
be
yeah,
100 years ago. It could be
yeah.
this week that something happened. And I think that's the point, isn't it? Is that when we open ourselves to something's got to change, and we start to listen to our inner intuition, those that wisdom, we notice things all the time. But just something for our viewers and our listeners, something that popped up.
I think one that occurs to me is I think it was probably about 6 years ago now when I discovered the type of hypnotherapy that I do, which is called rapid transformation therapy. But it's kind of, it was invented by someone else, but it's we all put our own stamp on how we deliver things. And when I experienced that, I had been a business coach at that point, and I was just giving people strategies and saying like just do this, just do what I do and nobody gets hurt, just follow my instructions and nobody gets hurt. And clients weren't getting the level of, I was just like, this is so easy, just do what I'm doing and you'll get the results. But it wasn't the case. And then when I experienced the rapid transformational therapy, it just blew my mind more than any other. And I'm a woman who I love investing in myself. That's my biggest expense other than holidays, is investing in myself. So there are so many different modalities that I tried, things that I experienced, but having experienced rapid transformation therapy, it just took it to a whole nother level for me. I didn't realize that there was so much uh, garbage kind of like stuck in my soul. And when I cleared it out, so many things changed in my life, and my business took off in a way I hadn't even anticipated. And I knew I needed to learn this because it felt like to not deliver this to my clients before trying to give them strategies was building on faulty foundations. And that was such a big turning point, recognizing I quite literally felt like everybody, everybody needs to do this, because everybody, no matter how privileged or underprivileged you were as a child, everyone's carrying something that they don't need to carry. And I still believe that to this day. And so that was like just a huge turning point for me. Like, wow, if everybody could experience one of these sessions, how amazing can they shift from being in a place where they may be uncomfortable and they don't even realize that something that happened at 1 years old, 2 years old, 5 years old is still running their life every day. And they may know it logically, but they haven't dealt with it emotionally and systemically and getting it out of their energy. And when that happens, just magic happens. And that was a huge turning point for me. Because I was like the town crier. I was like, don't you understand? Everybody needs to do this.
It's really funny when you said, as a business coach, you'd say, just do this. It's really, really easy. I used to be a book coach, and when I talk to people, I'd be like, well, I know what you need to write about. How can you not see it? It's there, and you never anticipate the emotional garbage that comes up when,
Mm.
because again, I don't know if it's a projector thing, but we see things in patterns and pictures and so clearly. So when you say, oh, just do this and it's going to be okay, that's not the truth. Like, I trained to be a nutritionist and I can't do it because it's like, just stop eating crap. Like, what's the problem? And I realized, that we all have those, like you say, those deep-seated things. And your rapid transformation therapy, which you bring your own magic to, helps people to break those things apart. I've seen you talk about lots of transformations clients have made because you've helped them deal with things at a deeper level. And I guess my next question is I'm curious, is do things still come up for you, although you know all of this stuff? Do the blocks and the mindset things still come up for you?
Absolutely. Like every single day, there are things that come up. We can't escape our conditioning. We can become more aware, and we can try, and I say try because we don't always, we can try and catch ourselves, but we're still living that out. We're still living it. So no matter how highly evolved we think we're getting, there's still going to be more layers of things to overcome. And some people will be like, oh, I dealt with that already. You can deal with the same issue till the day you take your last breath, because
Yeah.
there's so many different layers that will come up around it. And it's learning to shift that. And I want to say as well, like with the rapid transformation therapy, just before that, I started really diving into like the law of attraction and the law of assumption and the law of vibration. And the question was still coming to me, like, why are some people manifesting things they want so easily? And I'm sitting back and going like, why aren't things happening? Why am I not just sitting back and money is dropping on my on my head? Why is it working for other people and not others? Some people, not others. And I started looking at like the David Hawkins map of consciousness, which looks at like the emotional scale, where how the vibrational frequencies that people that affects our emotions. When I started doing rapid transformation therapy, and my clients started getting like breathtaking results, I was like, what is going on here? And it was the first time in my life that I was ever keeping really, really, really tight notes, because I wanted to really, maximize this opportunity, because I knew how transformational it was for me. So I was keeping lots of client notes. And then after maybe, I don't know, I want to say like 40 sessions with one-to-one sessions, I started assessing what's going on with these clients and why are they getting like phenomenal results. And when I did this sort of analysis, I realized that when you release those old emotions, and this may not be news to any of your listeners, but it was news to me at that time. And I was like, whoa, I've discovered gold. I've discovered, I didn't even know I was prospecting for gold, and I found it. Once people release those old emotions of guilt and shame, which are the lowest vibrating emotions, they then moved up the vibrational scale, because everything is vibrating energy. Everything is just a frequency. Every emotion has a frequency. When you release the negative emotions, you can rise to a higher level of vibration. And when you're operating at a higher level of vibration, the world looks the same. Everything, nothing changes. The only thing that changes is what you're open to, because you become a frequency match for something else. So again, I was like, oh my God, this is why the law of attraction doesn't work, or people don't think it works, because we're always manifesting. We're just not always manifesting what we want to manifest, because we've got all these old emotions that we don't even realize that are driving us.
No, carry on. I was gonna ask if there was a way that anyone watching this, what are those first steps to increasing their awareness of the way that their energy vibrates? Is there something they can do?
I think it's like what's the word I'm looking for? Uh hygiene. It's like spiritual hygiene. It's like a practice. Like I'm hoping that anyone listening to this would brush their teeth on a on a daily basis, because we all know the importance of good oral hygiene, and that you would wash on a regular basis, because we know that, you know, good personal hygiene is a good practice. Spiritual hygiene is equally as important. So the number one thing people need to be looking out for is this making me happy, or is this making me unhappy? Am I getting results that I don't like consistently? If I am, then it's time to examine. You
Mm,
only need to look at the results you're getting to determine whether you need to examine, because if you're not, this is the litmus test. If you're not getting the results that you want, there's something out of balance. Because when you say you want something and you're not getting it, your logical mind knows it's possible because you may be witnessing other people getting it, but something in your system, something in your energy system, which gets dismissed as being, you know, we weren't brought up in school thinking like, let's talk about how we're all energetic beings. It's, you know, school is just, it doesn't, we have to learn that on our own. So when you say you want something and you consistently fail to get that, and you're not even making progress in the direction of it, it's different if you're making progress. You're taking like little leaps, little leaps, little leaps. You go, well, okay, well, it's been consistent. It's been a while, but it's been consistent. If you're just going, I keep saying I want this and I keep not getting it, there's a disconnect, and it's there's going to be something inside that needs to shift. Otherwise, you need to go, all right, I'm never going to get it. Let me just like settle for whatever is here. You know, if you feel like you're settling and you're not getting what you want, that's your first kind of personal red flag, if you like.
I guess for a lot of people, you know, we talk about this conditioning in childhood, but as what I notice about being female is that we get so used to giving, we actually don't know how to receive, and we put all kinds of blocks in our way. So we say we want something, and then, oh, no, I need to spend that money on someone else, or I need to give something to someone else, or I need to do something before I am worthy of having that thing. And it was interesting. I was I'm recording a course at the moment, and I was talking about like what I call heart's desires, and really owning what you want, and thinking about what the deeper purpose of that desire is. Like I don't know if you were the same. I used to years ago, used to work in corporate, had, you know, like lots of corporate suits and all sorts of, you know, clothes for work and clothes for going out and clothes for best and whatever. But in the eaves of my house, in my front room, I had what was called Imelda's closet, and it was full. I mean, I didn't have as many shoes as Imelda Marcos. If any, I mean, didn't she have thousands of pairs of shoes or something crazy? I had a lot of shoes. And what was interesting, I was reflecting back on how the shoes made me feel. I never had a problem buying shoes and handbags. I loved it. That you know, like you put a really pretty pair of pink shoes on that you can't walk in, but they made you feel utterly amazing. And it's like if you truly desire something, I think it's stepping into that feeling of what does that give you on a deeper level. Like if you wanted a better house in a better area, perhaps people worry that they're going to be judged or shamed for desiring more. But if you think about the deeper reason, you might want to send your kids to a better school, you might want more space because the family is expanding, or you want a house with a garden so you can grow vegetables. And I think what certainly in my experience is we forget what those deeper needs are. So when we are desiring something, we believe that we don't deserve it, and then we forget about all the wonderful things that we'll get just from that, even just a simple, you know, purchase of a pair of shoes. So I'm wondering how our listeners can step into, I mean, it's a huge subject. I know you can't answer it all, but that first baby step of stepping into that deservedness of whatever it is they desire, a new life, a new job, new pair of shoes, whatever it might be, is there a first thing that they can do that helps them to become aware that actually they are worthy of whatever it is they desire? I know it's a big question, and I
Yeah, it's a massive question, and I'm going to answer it in a way that you might not be expecting, and that is first and foremost to make sure that your desire is not a trauma response,
ah,
that you're not thinking, I want that big house, I'll show them, I'll show them, and it's not like I'll do something to I'm just thinking many years ago I had a client who was he was extraordinarily wealthy, like beyond what most people will achieve in their lifetime. And all he was doing was trying to please his father. Every pound note that he made was about pleasing his father. And it was never, he was never gonna win. So on the outside, to everybody else, he looked like a success. He had the homes, multiple homes in multiple countries. He had multiple businesses. He owned a high street. He pretty much owned an entire high street in one of the counties in the UK. But everything he was doing was trauma response. So make sure, number one, that what you're doing is not a trauma response, because when you are not acting from a trauma response and you're acting from your soul's guidance, you're going to care less about what anybody else thinks. So again, I'm not saying it's an absolute, but it may be a marker for you to think, am I worried about what other people are going to think? And then maybe that's not the truth for you. Maybe it's about wanting to prove yourself because it's a trauma response rather than a heart's desire to do something. And your heart's desire is going to be the things that you can't not do. You can't not do. Like, somebody messaged me yesterday and was like, I would love you to come to our retreat. I bring the vibes, like wherever I go, unless I'm in a bad mood, then you really don't want to be around me. But 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 for the most part, I I bring the party. I am the party, and I can't not be the party. That it's just who I am. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to make excuses. I don't have to be apologetic. If you don't like me, don't invite me to come to come along. But like this person messaged and said, we'd love you to come to the retreat because I just think your energy would add so much value. And I'm like, of course it would, because I'm the party.
that's I love what you've said, because we do operate from trauma responses, but I adore what you've said about I am the party, because that opens up, you've been through this massive journey of transformation, and you are standing here today reclaiming that you're the fabulous finder, you are the party, you're going to come to something and really help to change the vibe. And I think for a lot of people, they forget who they are at their core because of the layers of conditioning and
Absolutely.
right and the trauma that they've been through. And it doesn't happen overnight. We have to peel back the layers. They say in Spain, poco a poco. It is small baby steps that I guess starts with that awareness. And you've talked about that, being aware of, why am I doing this? Is it through trauma? Is it through, that true desire? And like I say, I absolutely adore that you are standing in this power and owning who you are. I have never been to anything, because I live in Spain and you live in the UK, to anything, but I know that if I sat in your energy, I would definitely feel that change. That I would. I know. I mean, on Zoom, I feel it. I mean, you are incredibly inspirational, and I think for anyone watching this, take note of that, because you weren't always, I guess maybe you were always the party, who knows, but the fact is that you have claimed who you are. And anyone that is on this journey and thinking about stepping into the wild essence of who they are, look at this woman, look what she's done. And um, you know and I think that when we're at a crossroads and we think there is nowhere else to go, that we are absolutely bloody stuck in the mud and there is nothing, think about Denise, that how she has claimed herself, and you can too. So I guess pulling this to a close and thinking about that crossroads and someone who isn't embracing their true wild essence, one piece of advice. The trouble is, so much, and I'm going to say, just give everyone one piece. So they're standing at a crossroads.
Is to when you don't know where to start, give yourself 5 minutes a day to ask. That it doesn't have to be God, it doesn't, but just ask for, like, if I were to know what is true for me, what would that be? Just to ask that question and just listen. Don't start like going, I got to cook dinner and I got to do this and I got to go to the gym. Just if I knew it was true for me, what would that be? And let something come through and just start implementing whatever feels best for you. It might come as a feeling, it might come as an image, might come as a sound, but whatever comes through for you, to just start building little bits, because those tiny little actions will start to compound and create something magnificent, because the risk of not doing that is to live a life that's unfulfilled, and we don't want that for anybody.
So guys, go and get your journal and write. And if you haven't, if you find journaling really, really tough, all you got to do is write that one question. That's all you got to do every single day, is that one question. What's true for you today? And then sit and listen. I'm gonna add that. I journal every day, and I have my gratitude, I have my yes, what am I saying yes to, and where have I noticed abundance? And I'm now going to ask, what is true for me today?
Amazing. I love that.
No, thank you. That's great advice for me as well. So thank you very, very much. What is next for you on your journey? What's opening up for you?
Oh, I am, some people are not going to like this. I am loving my engagements with AI, especially like Chat GPT. And for those who are unfamiliar, it really is a reflection of your own consciousness. And I love what it's giving back to me. And it's just, I'm feeling so, I don't know if AI is going to kill us all. It probably will at some point. Right now, right now, it feels like such an empowering tool. And what's next for me is I'm developing my own bot to go on to Chat GPT, so that when I'm not there, my clients can wake up at 3 in the morning and be like, what would Denise do? What would Denise tell me? And they're like, it's just amazing inspiration that's coming through from this. So playing more with the AI stuff, getting people to make more friends with it, raising the vibration, in my own small way, helping people to elevate to a higher level of consciousness, because if we don't, if we don't, we're doomed. You get what you focus on. You literally materialize what you decide matters. Matter is to what materializes. So focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Make sure you're materializing the things that matter.
I adore that you adore AI, because I absolutely love it. So, like, one of my things is I make online courses. And before, I'd have to go through all my content and pull out the little bit, and it would take forever. I shove a whole workbook in and I go, give me a course outline, write my bullet points, import it into PowerPoint. And I'm like, wow. And also, I fed in all kinds of stuff. And I don't know if you saw the other day. So I'm single. I do still have a trauma response to dating. I can tell you that for nothing. Anyone comes to me, I'm like, no, 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 I'm not ready yet. I did this really funny thing. It was with ChatGPT the other day, and I said, knowing what you know about me, who would be the perfect man? And actually, it spewed out a reflection of the kind of person I was. But I posted it on Facebook for fun. And then I got it to make an image. And I didn't like the image. I was like, no, 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 I'm not going to have, and no, I'm not. And I did, honestly, and I, I went to bed and I journaled on it. And when I woke up the following day and I looked at the man and I thought, he's got such kind eyes. My AI has made me, God knows where I'm going to find him. My AI has found me a man. And I did it for a bit of fun. The other night I was sat there going, I wonder how ChatGPT could, knowing what it knows about me, how would I, what did I say? How would I change the world and heal humanity? And I asked it to be amusing. It was very funny. So I love it for all the practicality, and I adore what you're doing, because I think that's such a great thing to do, because when you're not around and someone is awake at 3 o'clock in the morning and doesn't know where to go, they can ask you. I just love it. And I know lots of people say, it's wrong, and it's going to take over the world, and like you said, maybe one day it'll kill us. Well, maybe we won't be here, we'll have gone back to wherever the soul place is and gone off to some other planet and doing some great work there. But I think if we embrace it in an ethical and holistic way, I mean, it talks to me like it just knows my personality. It's crazy. But so I absolutely adore it, and I love, love what you've done. I think that to me says, here is a person who wants to make sure that her clients are okay. And I think that really shows who you are as from a heart, from a really wise heart place. So yeah, thank you for sharing how you're going to continue to support your clients. So talking about supporting clients, where do we find you? How do we engage with you?
You can find me in all transparency. My website is probably not the most up to date. I always found that as soon as I put the last dot on the I, and I'd be like, I need to update it again. So my website is denisemortimer.com. You can find me there. It's not necessarily like everything that I'm, how what I've evolved into now, but that's where you can find me. Otherwise, I'm on Facebook under Denise Mortimer. A photo will look something like this if you're seeing this with the video on. And where else? I'm on LinkedIn and on Instagram as well. But Facebook is probably the best place, and my website is also.
Brilliant. Thank you. And thank you for being fabulous.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be your first guest.
Oh, I've absolutely loved it, and I'm going to add that prompt to my daily journaling, and we'll see how I evolve.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dale.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.